Hey, everybody. What's up? This is Mike Ward, and we have with us, as always, the man, Blake Smith. And tonight we have a special guest, and we're just going to show him real quick. Boom, Mr. Cyle Plumer. This guy is a rock star, and we're excited to have him on the show tonight. We're going to talk to him about a few things. We're going to talk to him about kind of where, his background, what's going on in his life and his world and the world of nursing. And we're going to talk about the upcoming board elections because this guy is running, and we're going to hear all about that from him tonight. Blake, what's up, dude?
Hey, I'm glad to be back. I apologize for missing last week with Ian. Which is funny. Ian just joined us. So, what's up, Ian? I'm just glad for everyone I've known Cyle for actually a long time. We've gone to school together and everything. And I'm just really excited for other people out there in our membership to get to know him and what he's been doing and what he really wants to do in the future for our organization. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So, we were just talking before we went live, and Kyle was saying he can't see us. Kyle, can you see us now? What do you see?
I cannot.
All right.
I see we have 4 viewers, and there's a little live. There's a live a caption up there, so I know we're live.
All right.
I can't see anything, but I'm with you here. I know you can hear me, and that's all that matters. So
fantastic.
You can see me too, right?
Yeah, we can see you just fine.
I can see you. And just to give you a little heads up, I look amazing.
You always do, Mike.
Blake, you look amazing as always.
Yeah.
And we're ready to rock and roll here, man.
Awesome. Cool. I'm ready to go. So,
well, we'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. And again, it's Sunday night. I hope you guys have had a great week. And tomorrow is the start of a new week. And in the nursing profession, that really does. Sundays really don't mean much, right? Because Sunday could be the middle of your week, right? I don't know what it's like to work on Monday through Friday. I haven't done that in years. Blake, how do you do it, man?
Actually,
how do you do it?
Rough. It was a little rough to start out with. It was a little rough to get back in the swing of things, but once you get in the groove, it's actually pretty nice. It's nice to do the 8 to 5, but I'm actually having to get up and go see the night shift for one of these pilots that we're doing. So I'm gonna have to psych myself up to try to get up at 3 a.m. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so I don't like to plug anybody. I don't like to plug anybody, but dude, I drank something last night. Kyle, you tell me if you ever had this before. Bang Energy. Have you ever had this? Bang Energy? Holy moly.
Did you get heart palpitations?
Well, you know what? No, I don't think I did. I don't know. I didn't. But I did start sweating. I don't know. So, it was pretty awesome, man, because I was needing it because I don't feel like I slept enough yesterday. But so you might want to try that, man. Bang Energy, and we at AAMN we are not sponsoring Bang Energy. We don't have any affiliation with Bang Energy.
We have not done any initial research on the side effects of Bang Energy on people, so we do not endorse it at this time.
We do not endorse it. We don't. But anyway, Kyle,
I'm gonna keep that one in mind for my next kid.
Right. Bang. Hey, Kyle. So, what do you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir? What do you do for a living besides?
Sure. So my background. So before nursing, I actually worked in urban and regional planning, and I decided to go into nursing probably 3 years into that career. Best choice I've ever made. And so I'm indebted to nursing first and foremost. But I 6 years, 2 years I worked on a step-down ICU progressive care unit, and the last 4 years I've been working adult critical care bedside staff RN. So,
is that 3 days a week?
Yeah, 36 hours. Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Other than the 4th and 5th shift he picks up all the time,
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to turn that money down, right? I mean, it's hard to turn down that opportunity to help our fellow nurses. You know what I'm saying?
You got to love it. I remember before I got married and met my wife, I'd work the first 3 shifts of 1 week and the back 3 on the other week. And, I'd go off and do, a fishing trip or, camping trip, and you didn't even have to use any of your days off. You just scheduled around it. And, nursing's a beautiful thing. It offers all kinds of lifestyles from, Blake's 9 to 5, or, you can work any 3 shifts of the week you want, and boom, you're done. So, and then endless other opportunities.
Right, man. It's the versatility. There's, Baylor, Scott and White here in Dallas has a shift, and it's a Saturday, Sunday, and that's it. You work a Saturday and Sunday, and then they pay you for 36 hours. You're working 12-hour days.
Wow.
Yeah. So how about that? That's a 2-day a week, full-time job. How cool is that?
I love Texas already. I don't need to be sold on it anymore. Might move down there.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on down, dude. I need a gym partner, and I need somebody to tow me on the wakeboard.
I heard you need a babysitter too.
Yeah, who told you that? That's true.
Yeah. So,
right.
Kyle, so we listened to kind of where you've come from, what you did even before nursing, but what brought you to this way of thinking of that? Since you've been in AAMN, what made the decision that you wanted to pursue a position on the board of directors, so that the members can kind of understand where you come from that commitment that you're pursuing to lead, a lot of great individuals in this country?
Yeah, well, kudos to you guys. Been, a part of a huge movement that, the members of AAMN have been seeing recently, with the Nurses Station podcast, all the different projects going on, the social media presence, all those things. And, I want to be a part of that. I want to, be a part of moving AAMN forward. Just the presence that, AAMN has been able to have even recently more so, you just really see people reaching out and connecting with AAMN. We're having so much influence on nurses. I don't even think we can really measure it. And I know, if I can jump in and do my part, help with membership, committee in any way, shape, or form, that's what I want to do. And, I know that there's different strategies you guys have been working on for that. And, I'm going to listen to all the AAMN members, see what they really want to see and how we want to grow and try to foster that. So, I know it's a lot of commitment, but I'm definitely up for it. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens, to make sure we're successful, and watch this thing hopefully blow up into more than we even thought it could be. I don't know what else I can say to advocate for myself. But I know one of the things, you guys have been doing is trying to connect more with millennials. And I think that's really huge for our profession, and for them to see, profession. I want nursing to be one of the professions that's talked about, not only amongst women, but amongst men is one of those top 10 professions that they should be pursuing, right out of high school.
Yeah, right on.
Mm-hmm.
Well said, dude. Well said. I haven't been a part of AAMN for, but a little under 2 years, and I think I've known you for almost a year now. And bro, I'm pulling for you, man. You are dedicated. Let's talk about what you do for the AAMN already. Most people may not know that you are actually the chair of the Midwest region of the AAMN. How did that happen, and what made you decide to pursue that?
Well, that actually all started because, we needed to figure out what chapters we had. And I know, when we went to this new management group, we really, needed to figure out what chapters were still active. So as we started going through the database, compiling all that information, we realized that actually the Midwest is the biggest chapter. And so we formed a committee, the Midwest Regional Committee, and we have some really great guys on that help stay in touch and communicate with each chapter. One of the big things that we wanted to do to have things change in the future is really make sure that we were connecting with each chapter and make sure we were listening to them and trying to figure out what they needed, what kind of support they needed. That way we could really adjust AAMN to suit their needs. I've been able to see that over the past year. So I helped recoup a lot of the chapters that were out there that we didn't know were still active. And right now I currently help onboard new chapters that are coming along. And one of the really cool things we're doing is we're trying to start the first chapter that's not academic based or community based. It's actually United Healthcare. We're going to bring them on. They have several male nurses. I don't know, Blake, what would you say? Hundreds?
Yeah.
Working there.
Wow.
I think Tom could probably give you the exact number watching right now, but it was funny because Tom sent out the initial email. He's like, Blake, I'm going to look for 10, core members, and we're going to kind of go from there. And within 15 minutes, he had 75 replies to his initial email.
He told me that too.
I
believe it. I'm like, this dude is unbelievable. Yeah, he's making some magic happen.
I'm like, sphere of influence, guys. Let's reach out. Look at this. All it takes is an email. Look at this. It's that easy. Now it takes a
really
to
awesome.
structure it up, but just ask the question. Ask the question. So.
I think it all starts with, like, a lot of people don't know that we even exist. It's unbelievable how many dudes that I run into, and they're like, AAMN, what's that? I'm like, are you kidding, man? And so you got to just kind of break it down for them.
And that's half the battle. I think if we get over that awareness piece, we'll find that recruitment, even by percentages, is going to increase our membership overall. It's a game of numbers. Even if we're 3% of all the male nurses out there, we should still be about 3,000 people base. That's 3%.
Yeah, man. Right.
So,
yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
So,
you bring up an awesome point there. I think, if there's maybe one guy or girl or someone out there that's on the fence about becoming a nurse, and maybe they see our website or they stumble onto this podcast, the Nurses Station podcast, I think we can have a lot more influence than we even realize. And, I'm excited for that. I think what you guys have been doing with this podcast and everything else is just exactly what AAMN needs. So,
well, I appreciate that, man. We have a lot of fun doing this. And, some people ask, well, so what's the big deal? Why is it such a big deal to increase your numbers? Well, with numbers, when there's more people involved, there's more people that we can help, and, there's, just the idea of providing mentorship is so important, right? And so we get the conversation going. The more people that are talking about this stuff, the more help that we can provide, the more resources we can provide to other nurses. So I think that's really important, to do whatever we can to, get as many people involved as possible. And this isn't an organization, and I know that you can back me up on this, both of you guys. This is an organization where people just sign up, and that's it. Man, we have so many things that we are pushing for all our members. So it's really exciting. And
exactly.
I love it. I love being a part of it. So thanks for that affirming the podcast, man. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm going to go back to the interview. I feel like I'm interviewing you for a position, like in my administrative role here, Kyle. What characteristics and skills do you think make you unique to, say, other individuals that are coming onto the board? And where do you see yourself fitting in? A lot of mentors of mine who have been on board says there's two different ways that you're successful on board. You're either a doer and you execute things, or you're really good at finding donations or fundraising. So where do you see, not just limited to those two, but what characteristics and skills do you see that are unique in what you can bring to the board to help us take us in a new direction, in a millennial direction, while still advocating for the amazing experts and veterans that have been here for years and should continue to be supported?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some amazing board members, some amazing candidates, and the old AAMN adage, "Iron sharpens iron," right? I mean, I'm hoping that I can come in and I know being in the position, I'll get more out of it than anything, and I'll learn so much, and it'll hopefully help develop a lot of leadership skills that I've been looking for and getting through AAMN. But honestly, I'm a very pragmatic person. So I would say I'm a doer. I like to get things done. I would rather raise money than ask for money, but I'm not opposed to asking for money and those type of things if that's what we need to do. I think I'm really good at fostering relationships and communicating with people, seeing what they need, and helping. And more than anything, I'm a person, I don't talk a lot. I listen more. I've always felt like I've if I'm talking, I'm not listening, so I'm not learning. So I really, want to be there and listen to people and see what they have to say and what they need and to help them. Of course, never being on the board before, I know there's going to be a lot for me to learn, and I'm okay with that. And I'm totally open to, really just, I'm open to mentoring as well, from just to help me along. So, I hope that, I can really keep moving AAMN along in the direction we want to go. And, I do, the one thing I see that I think AAMN could use is some younger leadership that can maybe connect with the millennial generation a little bit more. I think we're at a pivotal time here where a lot of times on the floor, we're short nurses. And it's just mind-boggling to me that, I see all these people out there that, really are hardworking people. They want employment. And, I just wish there were more nurses out there. So, for me, it's just all of the above. And really, I'm excited for the opportunity if I would be elected, and I can promise that, you'll get 100% effort from me.
Right. Yeah. And I'll tell you, and Mike, this is what makes Kyle and I a dynamic duo, because we go into a meeting, I'll make the pitch, and then he sits there and listens. And then at the end, he's like, "Blake, did you think about this?" I was like, "Oh yeah. So I'm humbled when I'm in his presence too, because it's those characteristics of what makes a dynamic board or a dynamic meeting. You have to have different characteristics, different skill sets, and that's what makes productive meetings. Is when you have people who, Mike and I, you know yourself, Mike, too. We could talk forever, and I'm very detail oriented. So I mean, before I come to a meeting, I know what I want to do, how to execute it, and what we want to get out of it. But sometimes what I've really worked on myself is the reflection piece, but I think I've seen Cyle in action in regards to reflecting and being able to summarize, and what he speaks to as listening and being, an active listener. It's very, very true. And I think that is a key aspect of what makes some people unique, that may not be so forthright in a meeting. And, you don't have to talk all the time to have presence in a meeting.
I get it, man, and I can attest to this as well. Being the southern head of the southern region, I've gotten to sit in on our conversations, right? And Cyle, man, he's always kind of like mellow, right? Just kind of in the background, and he's soaking it all up, man. And the old adage, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So you got to listen twice as much as you speak. That's Cyle, man. And whenever he starts to talk, everybody's like, everybody's silent because they know there's going to be some serious value coming, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Trust me, man. I've noticed. I've totally noticed. So it's pretty cool to know you from the backside of that.
Could you guys pass that along to my wife, please?
Yeah. What's her number? I'll do it right now.
No, with all jokes aside, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk to you guys and answer these questions. And sometimes I'm over analytical, but I think you guys say it so well. When you're involved in these things, it really is important to listen to your audience and see what they need, and that's what I'm all about. So, like I said, I promise if I'm elected, you guys will get 100% effort, and I have no agenda except to serve the members of AAMN. So
awesome. Hey, Blake, would you mind reading some of these comments? Because I can see the comments, but I can't see who they're from.
Yeah, and there's some really
really good
awesome
comments.
Individuals just in general on this. But Dr. Michael Bly, he says, Kyle, you're very impressive and grounded. A humble spirit goes a long way. There will be a lot to learn, but don't underestimate the power of your fresh voice and perspective. And then Patrick Tapp also said, I appreciate your desire to connect with millennials. I am working on doing that as well. Not an easy process when I am the oldest student in my nursing school cohort. Old enough to be many of my fellow students' father. But you know what? I will tell you, Kyle and I were in the same cohort going through our accelerated program. And we had a cohort member that was probably I wouldn't say he was our father's age, but he was about 10, 12 years older than us. Kyle, maybe 10 or 12 years older than me. I was the young guy in our group.
How old are you? How old are you, Blake?
I'm 32. So, yeah.
God, you're 32 already?
Yeah. Hey, you just keep you're always like 2 or 3 years older than me, Kyle. So just remember that. But it's all about, the engagement. I mean, millennials are all about not just what I'm going to get out of it. Because yes, that's important. Millennials are about when you have a conversation, they're going to be saying, if there's no value to me, I'm not going to participate. But they're really focused on not doing a lot of talking and getting together and have all these great ideas and just talk in circles. They want to actually go out and get something done. And so if an association could really falter as well when you get a lot of people together who may be very intelligent and very experienced in what they're doing, but if there's no desire to actually get boots on the ground and do something, millennials will have no part in it as well. So you have to create an environment for them to thrive. They're also looking for mentorships, not only from those that are 30 years down the road from them in their careers. They want to know who's that next step. Michael, in your position, you'd be like, okay, who's 1 year out of practicing school? How do I transition into my practice? Where should I be looking for my jobs? I mean, people that are in the grassroots in those areas. I mean, I connected more with my preceptees than anything. I loved it. And it's because I was one step ahead of them. I was guiding them through the next stage of their life. And I think that's what millennials are really wanting to grasp. And I don't know if you have any perspective on that, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, as a 34-year-old guy, I feel like sort of an old dude when I get around millennials, and it's, you just realize like, wow, there is a generational gap here and they are different from me, but at the same time, I realize I'm an Iowa farm kid and, I'm not exactly the same, I'm not exactly a perfect example of Generation Y or Generation X either. But, I think, there's a lot for me to learn from millennials and a lot, I can learn about them. And I think that's one of the unique challenges of this position is, I'm going to have to figure out, like you have, Blake, what are millennials looking for? How can we connect with them? And how can we make sure we present AAMN as something that's going to be valuable to them? Because, Blake, when we started the Omaha chapter, and we went over to Nebraska Methodist College, we thought it was going to be easy to get them to integrate into our local chapter and they would be excited to sort of do work. But the other part of that was trying to convince them of the value of it and the leadership skills that they were going to attain. And we've learned that's not so easy.
No.
So, I mean, it's a huge challenge, but, I definitely think we can do it. And the things I'm already seeing, like the Nurses Station podcast, the mentoring program, all these things that AAMN has been rolling out. is totally engaging for them. So, the social media presence, I know I can tell you, I need to do a better job on social media. I mean, there's so much cool stuff out there about nursing in general and men in nursing, and so many cool stories that, I've seen on there, just getting on there and sharing those, could reach out to people. So, without further ado, I'll let you guys get back to what you do best, but I'm really excited for that challenge. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. We appreciate you taking the time and letting us bring you on the show.
We got one more question. We got a question from a listener, Thomas Rosini, that you're very aware of, Kyle, because you've worked with him lately.
Tom, I'll get back to you that email. I know you just sent it a little while ago. I promise I saw it.
Kyle's a little busy right now, Tom, but he'll get to it. He asks, what makes AAMN mission statement meaningful to you? And what are you doing to support it today?
That's
deep. That's a good question.
A deep one.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it goes back to, my mom's a nurse, first of all. I don't know if you guys knew that, but she tried to get me to be a nurse from the time I was probably, 12 or 13. And all these years I said, no, Mom, I'm not interested in that. That's not for me. That's not macho enough for me, or whatever. I just kept finding excuses not to even look at it. And then here I was in my mid-20s going, you know what? Nursing is a pretty cool job. It's so rewarding, so fulfilling. I never even realized that. And so, as I've been on this journey going through, you always look back at your younger self and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? But that's all part of why I'm here, is because I want to make sure that, if there's any guys out there or girls that aren't sure about the nursing profession or kind of wondering, I'm hoping maybe they'll see a little snippet of this broadcast. Maybe they'll see something on the website. Maybe they'll see something on social media that we've shared. A really good one is I'm trying to think, Blake, the ex-Nebraska football player that's now a nurse. There's a big article in the World Herald. Baker Steinkuhler. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that guy was an absolute monster on the gridiron, and here he is, one of our colleagues basically now. So for me, that's why I'm here. I want to make sure that, we have, first of all, so we have bedside nurses that can take care of me when I'm old.
True. That's forward thinking.
So, like I said,
sightlining. Yeah, he's sightlining right now.
I like it.
But in all honesty, I hope by the time I'm an old geezer that maybe 30% of the workforce will be males, bedside nurses. Maybe that's too optimistic. I don't know, but part of the mission for me is that. And then there's the men's health side. I still feel like there's a lot of work to be done on the men's health side. Obviously, we've all heard of Susan G. Komen, Race for a Cure, breast cancer. You see, every, Sunday on the football field, there's players wearing pink shoes, pink jerseys, and I'm always sitting here going, why don't we have the equivalent for males? This is Men's Health Month, and we haven't really heard that much about it, so I think there's a long way to go for advocating for men's health and what we're doing for that. I think it's gotten better, but we still have a long way to go. And, that's part of my mission too. Hopefully I can be a part of that and keep pushing for those things.
Well, yeah, and I think you make a great point, and even this is coming from me from the men's health thing, and I know there's probably definitions. I've seen some of the definitions of men's health and everything, but when you can become an expert in men's health in 11 hours, because there's just that little of research out there, how do we even truly have a definition of men's health? And if we're going to do things that, I think women's health services have done such an amazing job. And I think this organization has and should continue to support all of those things in women's health because it's a huge need. But I think this organization could really come up with really reflecting on what it means for men's health. Is it just testicular or prostate cancer? I don't think it is. Is it just like heart disease and all these things that affect both men and women? That's across gender. Does it affect us differently? Maybe. But I think one big key aspect that's missing is just the access and the participation in care is a huge part of what makes disparities within men's health. And so we need to make sure we have an all-encompassing definition of that before we can even go forward in making these campaigns meaningful for the public to actually want to be a part of. Because if it doesn't hit home, and if it doesn't feel real, and we don't change the minds and the culture and the environment, we aren't going to find the outcomes and the metrics that we are anticipating or wanting. And so I think that's what I'm excited for on the men's health side too, is we have an opportunity to really define or help define, because I know there's other organizations that are doing great work too, get together and define what that is of men's health for the 21st century, and then move on it and take action and not just and stop talking about it and actually get to those outcomes that we need to get to. So sorry, you get me riled up here.
No,
and I get up on my soapbox. That was me. That was me in a meeting making a pitch after Kyle.
Well, I knew he was gonna listen intently, and he wasn't gonna say anything until the very end. And I wanted to see if I could hold out as long as he did. You called us out on it. So.
Yeah. Well, that was really well said, Blake. You're totally right. We need to come together as men and really, define what men's health means, So that's awesome.
We got some comments, guys. What do we have here?
Dr. Bly, Michael Bly says, "You guys are funny. Old geezers rock." And
they do.
And then Patrick chimes in, "Even middle-aged geezers can rock." He's 45, by the way, if anybody's measuring.
Oh, come on, man. Get at it. 41.
Just came into my mind.
And Thomas says, "Don't call him Grandpa. If he can call him a lot." So
48.
No, I'm so excited because the individuals that have made have paved the way for men in this profession that has been on an accelerator, even though it hasn't probably been as successful as we've all wanted to be. But they've just, you don't talk about glass ceilings in a limited profession. It's astronomical to me. And the things that you learn from the opportunities that you go through and that I've been able to, and I know Kyle and Mike, you've started to go through those with the regional and national leaders that have been here, done that, and are still here, and are willing to mentor us. I'm sorry that it hasn't happened in another association. I know that everybody's trying to get to that point. I know people have been assigned mentors and all this stuff, but we're creating a family environment for mentorship to thrive, not just in a structured environment, but as a family. And I think that's where people feel included. So therefore they feel engaged or feel okay to speak up. Then it equals engagement. And then that's where a swell of action comes from, because everybody feels like they actually can get something out of it.
It's excitement, man. It's exciting to just be a part of something like that and to be able to, to pitch in and actually have something to do, Yeah.
So I don't picture them as like picture you guys like with old canes and walkers, like geezers. Maybe more of like Gandalf or Dumbledore.
I think they're
exactly all wise. They're all wise and all knowing. And
that's exactly what I was
thinking. That's a horrible metaphor. But Gandalf, Tom, you don't have a big beard like that. I know. Either does Dr. Bly or Patrick. But anyway. That's what I say. There's nothing negative or positive. It's let's start paying it forward. There should be a transition there. There shouldn't be people at the top and then it stops and then new people come in. We all know that doesn't work. let's always have a fluid transition. So people are prepared to be at the top, and we already have built the environment to where we all don't know any better than to continue to keep paying it forward. Yeah. And that's what the nursing profession should be, because we do it for our patients. Why don't we do for our younger colleagues? It doesn't make any sense to me. So,
well, listen, we're pushing the limit here on time. Cyle, thank you so much for taking the time tonight.
My pleasure, guys.
Sunday night.
It's great to be on the Nurses Station podcast, and I mean, I guess we're not on the podcast, but I guess what I'm saying is I'd love to come on the podcast if you need a guest.
Well, actually, I don't know, Kyle. You may not know this, but what we do is we take this audio, this live, and we post it on our public pages too. But then we strip the video off and we apply the audio, and then we put the intro and the outro, and then we upload it to the podcast page of our website. So you are on the podcast. You are just taking part of the live VIP podcast that everybody gets to interact with on the personal page. So surprise.
It's great being with you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for all the listeners and viewers out there. Really appreciate you guys tuning in.
Awesome, man. Hey, Blake, you want to take us out with some announcements that you might want to, bring to the listeners?
Yeah, I'll just quick. I want a few of you out there and are confused, and I agree with, because there's not much. The process of this board elections is very constrained due to our current bylaws. And so I wanted to take this time to kind of to map that out and why we're doing what we're doing. For those who may have been looking for the paperwork already for the board of directors positions, that will officially come out on July 23rd. And you can turn it in that day. It will last for about 3 or 4 weeks. The Leadership Succession Committee then takes that and they will turn it around and post for vote. What we've decided to do, to give ample time for everyone to be able to come on our broadcast here and for you to get to know them, we had to start early. So we started with individuals who have already reached out to us and said, hey, I'm going to be turning stuff in for a board of directors position nomination. So that's why Mike and I started getting moving on this with Ian and Kyle. And those you don't know, Mr. Michael Ward also is putting one in. So he's been interviewing since like last December on this podcast. So you get to know him. We're going to bring someone on every single week, because what better way to know and be educated in who you want to lead you than to see them, interact with them, and not just read a 250-word essay. I think this is such a better platform. So that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Awesome.
Next year, we're going to put a whole new process together. So it's, more elongated. People will put stuff out sooner. The process will be much smoother and much more transparent. But unfortunately, we can't do that until the bylaws have been changed or voted upon. And that will happen at our conference. So come to the conference and you can vote on what that looks like.
When's that conference going to be?
That is October 4th through the 6th, Mike.
Yes, sir. Man, it's going to be fun.
And you'll see these two guys there. You will see these two guys there in person.
Oh, you guys got to come. You got to make it happen. Listen, it's in October. You have plenty of time to plan. You got plenty of time to strategize to get those days off. It's just a couple days. I sure want to see everybody.
I'm still trying to talk Kyle to coming in on Wednesday. Because I know that you're probably coming in on Wednesday too.
I'm coming in on Wednesday.
So,
guys, the beautiful thing about nursing is I can work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and my week is open after that. So I can make that happen.
So we got that. The other thing I just want to plug too, it's coming to the deadline. It's the best school and best workplace applications for schools and health systems that believe that they do a great job in promoting men to be a part of their institutions. That is actually July 15th. Don't fret if do I need a passport if I need to go to Wisconsin? I don't know.
Just a Packers jersey.
Just a Packers jersey, blend in. But if you are really serious about turning something in, And that deadline obviously is very fast approaching. You haven't thought about it yet. Just reach out to Bonnie Schmidt or myself. Her email is on the website. If you find it, email myself at blake.smithrn2012@gmail.com. I will get it to her. We'll see if we could stretch that deadline out a little bit so that you can get it in. We want to make sure as many people have the opportunity to turn it in. And this has just been a very big transition year for us. So it's very hard to get all the details and have everything smooth because we're reinventing everything. So everything's going to be reinvented this year, and everything will be much more streamlined for next year. I promise you. So we got that. We got board nominations, and then start planning now. And next Monday, July 16th, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is going to be our next town hall. We're actually going to go, Jason Mott, our education chair, is going to go through the details of tips and tricks and how to get there, when you arrive to the conference, why should you come to the conference, and what's going to be happening that is so different and innovative than what we've done before if you've come to a conference in the past.
Can you put that
very, very interactive.
Can you say that time and date one more time? I want to say that there was some interference.
Yep, it's July 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That is our town hall, friends.
Yep, and this is open to all National Dues paying members. Vicky, our project manager, will be sending out an invite via email, as well as I'll post the link to register on the group page so that you have ample time. She verifies that you're a national member because we're going to be sharing sensitive information. So we want to make sure that it's members only. And then you'll get to see other board members that you may have not met or haven't seen in a long time on video talking. And this is a new thing for them too. But it just increases that transparency. You need to see your leaders, and we need to be talking and being transparent with you. And that's the future of this organization. So we're pretty excited about it. We're going to be pumped up. Everybody's going to want to come to the conference after that meeting. And then it'll still give you ample time to make that decision, having this meeting in July and not September. So, and that's all I got.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. I don't have anything else. Kyle, thanks again. Blake, you're the man, sir. Thank you for being on. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And we are out. See you, everybody.